Light Between Oceans is a story about a man who lives on a lighthouse who falls in love with a woman and tells her to come live with him. And then a couple years later during their relationship, they have 2 miscarriages. And then after they're being depressed and all sad like, they look out into the ocean, well specifically the wife first, and they see a baby out in a boat. And then they rescue the baby, but then they question themselves, should they keep the baby or should they report it? Well, if you've seen the trailer, you know what happens. And that's what the story's about. Let's start off with the positives. Derek Cianfrance, yet again, the director of Place Beyond the Pines. He has done it again with the way he films. I believe it is his best filmmaking for visual shots ever. Everything is real. There is no CGI from what I believe. The ocean, the way he captures wind. Wind is pretty much another character in this film. It's from the very beginning to the ending of the film and all the way throughout. Just the way he captures the mood, the way he gets Michael Fassbender to move in a certain direction or Alicia Vikander to look a certain way. It's breathtaking. And also the best shots, like I said before, is the ocean or the very opening where you see the sun come up to brighten up the lighthouse. It is just marvelous, and it totally exceeded my expectations for this film. Now, a film with Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, you're gonna expect to have some really, really good acting, and this movie does deliver on that. For me, the best performance is Michael Fassbender because throughout the film you see him go through all types of emotions, being happy, sad, being back to being joyful, being back to be depressed, and it's just very heartaching to see that for the characters, and very heartaching to see, especially Alicia Vikander in the first and second act, when she is just desperate to have a baby and she can't do anything about it. And there's something wrong until suddenly they see that baby, and just the way they capture the emotions. And I know it's the actors, but also I know it's Cianfrance who delivers that emotion from the actors. He pushes them, and it's just breathtaking. I think Michael Fassbender does deserve a Golden Globe nominee, and also Alicia Vikander. I don't know if it's Oscar worthy, but it is Golden Globe. And this is a weird positive I have, but emotion. That is one of my positives in this film. It knows how to bring out emotions in people, especially, well actually no, all the way throughout the film. There is emotion everywhere, but especially in the final act too. But in every scene between them, you feel like they love each other. You feel the sadness. You feel the emotional growth that's going between them and this baby that they want to keep. But Michael Fassbender, the dad, doesn't know if it's the right thing. But the wife, she wants to keep her, and she thinks it's her baby. It's hers. They know, they fed her. They taught her how to speak. And it's a very heartbreaking process to see all throughout the film, especially near the ending. It'll break you out in tears. But that's one of my positives for The Light Between Oceans also. My last positive for this film is I liked every act. But what act I loved was the third act. The third act was amazing. It just took everything from the story. I haven't read the book, but I want to read the book to see if it's even close to the adaptation of it. But the third act, how they did it, was just, I don't want to ruin anything because there's just this one really amazing scene between Michael Fassbender and this character, and it just leads you off in tears. And I can't say anything else. Just watch the movie. The third act will leave you in tears if you have a heart, though. Now off to my negatives. The movie did feel a little bit long, and that's coming from the guy who did the Place Beyond the Pines review, which is 2 hours and 20 minutes. This movie was 2 hours and 12 minutes. There were some scenes in the first act, and that's another negative, is the first act, it took a while to set it off, like the first 30 minutes, and by 40 minutes into the film, it starts to make sense, and you go more along with the journey until the second and third act. But for the first act, it just took some time to build up, and sadly, that kind of lowered my score because I was expecting an amazing movie all the way throughout. I'm not bashing it, it's just my expectations throughout the film were a little bit let down. Overall thoughts for The Light Between Oceans, I think it is a great time at the theaters, and it is worth the admission price. Some people will honestly be sort of bored in this film, especially in the first act, but if you give it time, especially in the last hour of the film, it takes off by the performances, the way it's filmed, the storytelling. Rachel Weisz, I didn't even mention her, she did great, but I do think it's worth owning for my own personal Blu-ray collection, but go check it out for yourself. I'm going to give The Light Between Oceans a solid 8.2 out of 10. So I hope you enjoyed my review. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please don't forget to be blessed.